And for now, I don't want to print mailing labels. There is no other contacts. I only made one, so that's it. I'm going to preview, and it's asking me if I want to preview then print or just preview. I want to say preview then print because I want the date stamp to stay that I sent this letter, although I'm not going to really print anything right now. So I'll say OK. Okay, and yeah, I have my letter. Here is the person that's receiving the letter. Here is my list of requirements. You remember that I typed it in. Here is the deadline for them to comply. So basically, if I'm happy with all this, I will eventually go to print, merge to printer, right? Because if I had many records, I would want my database to be basically in this template letter replacing the fields that are merge fields. So, okay, here is my Word. Let's say I was printing it, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to go and close it. It's going to ask me if I want to save this. BPMS basically keeps the track of these documents. So if you want to, you can do it. For now, I'm going to say no. It's not important to me. Have the document been printed successfully? If I say yes to this, although I didn't print anything, but I will say yes because I want the date stamp to stay in BPMS that I sent this document I printed and mailed it to the customer, right? So then if I do this and if I close out of this, you see that my notification and a reminder about sending the survey is gone. I still have this tester thing that I had prior. So it's gone, right? Because I said yes, it was printed successfully. If I close out of this, if I go again to my facility, to the surveys, I can see now that the low hazard survey letter was sent on 2nd November and response due is 1st March of 2012. So what happens now? We're waiting for the 1st March 2012 to get basically some sort of compliance from the user that they put the desired device inside of that facility, and they would usually send you the first test. So that's how you would get to know about the serial number of the device and all the other details about the device, right? But let's say that I want to just show you, considering that it's the 2nd November now, I want to show you what's the reminder going to do, because right now the first letter was sent and compliance was 120 days. So I'm going to now fake that we passed Christmas and New Year, Happy New Year. I'm going to change my clock on my computer to basically say that now we're in, let's say, April of 2012. I think this was March when it was due. So this should definitely show in a reminder. So if I say apply, say OK, and if I go to my reminder, see what's happening. Now that it thinks it's March of 2012, it's actually, and I got no compliance from this user, it wants to send the second letter, right? Now, two situations. Let's say they didn't really comply, and I can do the same. I say prepare, send the second letter. There is another grace period before we need to do something about it. But maybe, let's say that they did kind of meanwhile, before I even sent the second letter, they sent me the test report for this device that I requested they put in. So how would we go about putting the information about it? Now, I like to still do all that through facilities, right? So I open facilities, and I will go to see these tabs at the bottom about surveys, install devices. So we're going to use install devices, and I'm going to hit new device here. I'm going to put some faked record. Basically, you can see on my left-hand side where the facility is and who is the customer for it. So now I'm going to put some number 34344343. I'll say it's in a boiler room because that's where they put it. I requested it that way. I say make. It's going to be, for example, watts, and the model. There is many. I'll pick this one. And I can certainly say that now, let's say, because the system thinks it's the 1st April, so I can say like, okay, let's have this device be tested in April every year. And next test due basically is now in April 2012, because that's assuming today's date. I mean, I changed it on my computer, right? So there is a pending survey for this because the date got passed where they had to comply, and let's say they complied a day later. So that's why I'm having this information about this device and I'm putting it in. What's going to happen now if I want to put new test? As soon as I do that, it will tell me here that there is a pending survey for this device, because it would be contradictory. I'm putting a test and there is a survey and it's not finished yet. There need to meet some requirements and all that. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to open this survey, and considering that I got a test for this device, I'm going to put meet all requirements, and you see that my next survey date went 5 years ahead the way I set it up, right? And so if I close this, then my next survey will be in 2016. So now I got back to my test. Now that I set this survey that it's okay, we need to survey it again in 5 years. I'll put the line pressure, whatever, usually you have that information. There is other information you may want to put. Sometimes people don't even put this held at, but I'll do, let's say, I don't know, I'll put like 8.2. So the test will still pass. I want it to pass. So I'll go like 8.5 here, for example. Okay, and I'll say the test date. My computer is assuming it's first April Fools. Okay, so I'll go 01 April of 2012. Oops, 12. And as soon as I hit enter, my next test due is going to 2013, right? Because the test has passed. And the tester's name, I actually put some funny thing here before, because you need to have the tester name as well. There is certification number. That's why, because you remember when I started this tutorial, my reminder was telling me that there is a tester whose certification needs to be renewed, right? Because I didn't put any date in there, but I put one tester, so I don't have to deal with it now. However, you can always double click on fields like this. I'll save changes here, and it will open me a table. I can even put new testers. I didn't have to go from the very beginning and first put the tester, but usually you would probably put the testers who are, testing these devices. Okay, so close out of this, and as soon as I close this test, the test has passed. I can see that my next test due is 1st April 2013. Okay, so if I close out of this, we have it all done. My reminder is blank. I mean blank for the letters, but not for the tester certification, okay? Now, next thing we're gonna do, I guess this is going into a second tutorial, maybe even is gonna go into 3 of them.